Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd, and today I'm going to be listing my top 5 favorite Star Wars novels. I have been reading so many of the Star Wars books lately and listening to some of the audiobooks, and was really just kind of thinking about which ones were my favorites as I was recommending some to a friend, and figured it would be a fun video, so here we are. This will be spoiler free for all of the books. I know a lot of people haven't gotten a chance to dive into the Star Wars novels yet, but they're very good, and so I don't want to spoil anything. And this was a much harder list to narrow down than I expected, so I do have a few honorable mentions that we'll go over before we start the list, starting with Tarkin, written by James Luceno. It was published in 2014. It's set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and it's about how Tarkin becomes a Grand Moff in the Empire's military, and it's fantastic. Luceno is a great Star Wars character, or a great Star Wars writer, and Tarkin is a very brutal character that is fun to read about, and really just James Luceno does such a good job, and we'll definitely hear his name again as we go through this list. Next honorable mention is going to be Master and Apprentice. Master and Apprentice, written by Claudia Gray and released in 2019. This book is set about 8 years before The Phantom Menace. It's about a mission that kind of tests Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan's relationship during a tumultuous part in Obi-Wan's apprenticeship. But fantastic book. Was very surprised. I'm very excited for more Claudia Gray going forward, and to check out her other books that are already out. And our last honorable mention is a bit of a cheat because it is a trilogy of books, but it's the new Thrawn series that includes just Thrawn, which came out in 2017, Thrawn Alliances, which came out in 2018, and then Thrawn Treason, which came out in 2019, all written by Timothy Zahn, and helps reintroduce the character of Thrawn to the new canon. Thrawn Alliances is probably my personal favorite of the three because it's a split story about Thrawn doing a mission with Anakin and also Thrawn doing a mission with Vader, and Timothy Zahn is just another fantastic Star Wars author whose name we are going to hear again in this video. So now we'll get to the official list. Those are all the honorable mentions. Full disclosure, there are cheats in the main list as well. I have some trilogies listed that I didn't want to end up taking up like 3 out of the 5 spaces on the list for just one trilogy, so I lumped all the trilogies together, so it's really about 9-10 books on the list technically, but I'm not going to recommend you just read one of the trilogy. That seems silly. But anyways, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with number 5. And I'm going to go with the Jedi Academy trilogy, which includes Jedi Search, Dark Apprentice, and Champions of the Force, which were all published in 1994 and written by Kevin J. Anderson. Of course, the entire trilogy is Legends, and it's about Luke trying to build his new Jedi Order, mostly, as long as some other bigger threats to the galaxy and New Republic as a whole, but it's really the focus is the new Jedi Order. Admittedly, the pacing of the books is a bit wonky in a certain parts, and it does have a few conveniences in the overall story, but the characterization is very strong and the story is very compelling. And this one, I know I'm a little bit biased because this was the second like Star Wars trilogy of books that I read when I was a kid. I think I want to say like 9 or 10 when I read them. It was like right after The Phantom Menace had come out. So I've loved them since I was a kid, but I've read them in my adult life as well, and I do think they are truly great. Number 4, the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, published in 2005 and written by Matthew Stover. Unfortunately, this was also made Legends by Disney, which is unfortunate because it's basically just a more filled out version of the movie where things are just more fleshed out. Like you learn about, characters' feelings and motivations and what they're thinking, and you also get like a few events that happened like off screen, and you see what some characters are doing while other things are happening on the screen, and it's just like getting an in-depth look on the movie, and I love it, and I do think it greatly enhances the movie once you learn all of the information from the book. It just makes it better, and there's really nothing in here that I don't know why Disney wouldn't want to keep the novelizations of the books in canons. Like it makes a few references to some of the other extended universe lore in the book, but nothing so drastic that it would weigh the new canon down. So I just don't understand that. But a very, very good book. And even though the story is obviously overall what happens in the movies, I do recommend you check this out if you enjoy Revenge of the Sith, because it really, really fleshes it out. Number 3, the Darth Bane trilogy, which includes Path of Destruction, which came out in 2006, Rule of Two came out in 2007, and then closes with Dynasty of Evil, which came out in 2009. They're all written by Drew Karpyshyn. Another Legends trilogy about, Darth Bane establishing the principles of the Rule of Two that would ensure the survival of the Sith for over 1,000 years, and would eventually put them in a position to wipe out the Jedi and rule over the galaxy again. And I love Sith and dark side lore, and I just like the character of Bane. He's cool and he's badass, and he really is wise. You can understand why he establishes these principles and how he views the dark side. And his apprentice, Darth Zana, is also a very incredible character, and I loved learning about her as well. And it sucks 'cause I don't think Disney would do this now, to where they'll write new books that are legends, but I would have loved to have gotten a book about her and her apprentice, and then maybe a book about her apprentice's apprentice, and just so on and so forth until you get to the Phantom Menace. I think that'd be such a cool book series, and would have just loved to have gotten more of Zana. And I'd even take more Bane, where they fill out some of the time in between the books, because Bane is a very cool character, and he really might be the best Sith Lord. He obviously never ruled over the entire galaxy, but yeah, he might be the best. Number 2, Darth Plagueis, published in 2012 and written by James Luceno. Another Legends book about Palpatine's master, Darth Plagueis the Wise, and covers about a 35 ish year span of his life, and ends up coinciding with the ending of the Phantom Menace by the time you get to the end of the book. And we see him and Palpatine manipulating the galaxy, and I think this is an absolutely perfect addition to the prequel trilogy. Luceno is truly a top 2 Star Wars author for me, and this realistically is probably the best just written Star Wars novel in terms of describing, locations, actions, events, the overall story, the characterization, the fleshing out of the universe. Like, it is so good. And I do actually have a full review of this book on my channel, so if you want to hear a little bit more, go ahead and go check that out. All right, coming in at number 1, we have the original Thrawn trilogy, which includes Heir to the Empire, which came out in 1991, Dark Force Rising, which came out in 1992, and then closes with The Last Command, which came out in 1993. They are all written by Timothy Zahn, another Legends trilogy, so that's 5 out of 5 on the list. I just love the Legends stuff, and the books take place about 5-ish years after Return of the Jedi, so approximately the timeline of the Mandalorian in the new canon, and the books show Thrawn attempting to destroy the New Republic with the remaining Imperial forces and reestablish the Empire with him at the head. And this is a perfect addition to the original trilogy, much like Darth Plagueis is a perfect addition to the sequel trilogy. And it's also just a perfect sequel trilogy to follow up the OG movies, and really what the sequel trilogy movies should have been was probably a loose adaptation of these books. It has the kind of gripping war aspect and seeing some of the destruction and Thrawn's tactics and the way he's able to manipulate basically entire sections of the New Republic into thinking he's going to do one thing and then doing something else. And there's a political thriller aspect with twists and turns throughout all 3 books, and the continuation of Luke, Leia, and Han is fun and fantastic and feels so in line with the George Lucas version of these characters. And these books have some of the best characters that were ever created for the extended universe, mainly Thrawn, Mara Jade, Talon Card, Gilad Pellaeon, Jorah Sabaoth, Rook, and so on. And also interesting new creatures the Ysalamiri and the Nogri. I cannot say enough good things about these books. They are perfect Star Wars stories, and I love them. And this was the first book, or the first trilogy of books that I read when I was a kid. So obviously kind of have that lifelong bias, but these books are fantastic, and that's kind of just the general consensus. So it's not just the bias, they are really that good. And I know that the rumor is that Dave Filoni's movie is going to be a potential loose adaptation of Heir to the Empire, so I would be really excited for that, and hopefully make some of this stuff canon, as well as some of the new Thrawn stuff that they've added into canon. But I would love just a kind of adaptation of it in really any way. And I do think Timothy Zahn is the best Star Wars author. I don't think he has any misses for his Star Wars novels. I know he has like his own stories that he's created, but I've never read them, and I really do think he's the best, just slightly edging out James Luceno. But there it is. Obviously, this is a strong recommend for every single novel on this list. Like, these are all essential Star Wars reads, like canon or not. And this is a list that could definitely change over time. Like, there are approximately 400-ish Star Wars books, if you include the novelizations, all the extended universe, all the new canon books, all of, like, the behind the scenes books, the arts books. There's a ton of Star Wars, and with, like, more being released all the time. And I've only read about, I would say, probably in the ballpark of like 50-ish, probably. So this video might need updating one day as I read more, and I'll be excited if it does. Like, I would love to get some more great Star Wars stories, and there are a ton that I didn't list here. Like, I've enjoyed most of the books I've read. Like, some are more like disappointing than others. I don't think I've like just disliked any of them outright so far. But of course, let me know your top 5 or just your favorite one, as well as any recommendations you might have. Like I said, I've only read 50 out of 4-ish 100, but I would just love to know what you guys think, and I have some more videos coming very soon that I'm excited about, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.